Good morning, everybody. It's the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell, but it's Martin Kelly holding down the show today for Scott Mitchell. Scott will be on later today. He'll be hosting the Sean O'Connell show later here on ESPN 792.1 FM alongside my one of my best friends here. I will say that, man. He's become one of my good friends here. Zach Robinson in the producing studio with me today. As usual, he always helps me when he can. Zach Attack, man, you looked a little sleepy this morning. Did you get any sleep last night?
A little bit. I got off really late last night. We were busy at the other job, so just a little. I'm still waking up a little bit, but I'm here.
Hey,
I'm here.
that's the best part, man. So we are live on YouTube, YouTube. So go watch us on the YouTube stream, ESPN 700. You can look us up. You can even follow us on the app, ESPN 700, ESPN700sports.com. And man, we're on ESPN 700, 92.1 FM, Salt Lake City, Utah. I can't ask for much more than that. We got a lot to talk about today. First, in the hot headlines, we're going to talk about Victor Robles. Threw a bat at a pitcher. What is he doing? The Yankees load off last night on the Tampa Bay Rays, 9 home runs in a game, the second time they've done that this season. And Auburn has claimed 4 national championships. We'll talk about that. In the NFL news and notes, Arch Manning is talking about maybe, just maybe, he won't enter into the 2026 NFL draft. And Cam Ward had a fight in practice with the Tennessee Titans. Who did he take on and why? We'll talk about that. And then in the final segment, we got to talk about 2 stories. We got to talk about Anthony Richardson getting passed out by Daniel Jones for the starting job in Indianapolis. And is Matt Stafford healthy enough for the LA Rams to go this season? We got a lot to talk about when it comes to that. And let me tell you, it is going to be a blast. First, let's get back to the top of the rundown. Let's talk about it. Victor Robles right now plays for the Seattle Mariners and was on rehab. So basically what that means, he's on injury and he went down to AAA, try to get some swings in, try to play in the infield, try to get back into playing shape. He got hurt in April with Seattle. He got surgery, and he finally come back from the surgery, and now he's healthy to come back and play with the Seattle Mariners. They sent him down for a rehab assignment for a week, and in that week already, he got into trouble. He's playing against the Las Vegas Aviators in a 5-game series. First game back, he gets hit 3 times by the starting pitcher and by a reliever. In the second game, he got hit again in his first at-bat, and then from there on out in the second game, he stepped so far back in the box, was not taking any chances. He took 2 strikeout swings and didn't do anything about it. He said, nope, I want nothing to do with that whatsoever. Stop hitting me. I'm on rehab. I'm an MLB player. I'm trying to get healthy. I'm not trying to earn a job. Okay, I already got my job. It's waiting for me. I'm just trying to get ready to come back. And he takes 2 games off. And in the final game of the series, the first pitcher that hit him in the first game of that series comes back and hits him twice. And in the second at bat, he lost it. He just absolutely chucked the bat right at the starting pitcher on the mound. It broke out a fight. Everybody came out of the dugouts. The bullpens ran down. The managers are trying to separate everybody. The umpire threw Victor Robles out of the game, and now he is suspended for 10 games when he gets called back up to the Seattle Mariners. And let me tell you, I have never seen that ever in an MLB game. I've seen fights, okay? I used to work for the Chicago White Sox, being a seat vendor. I used to sell cotton candy, popcorn, hot dogs, all that. I watched the Kansas City Royals and the Chicago White Sox get into a brawl, and it was a brawl to watch. Jeff Samardzija, Chris Sale. This is when the Kansas City Royals were at their very best. This is when Ventura was their starting pitcher, and he was just a person that didn't like anybody. Rest in peace to him, unfortunately. But, man, let me tell you, it was a little bit of a shell-shock moment to watch a fight break out in a game. And for this to come down, man, I've never seen anybody chuck a bat at a pitcher. I get it. When you get plunked, when you get hit 5 times in 3 games, when you're on rehab assignment, you're just trying to come back healthy. You're trying to come back from an injury. You're not earning a spot back up to the big league team. You didn't struggle for 2 months, get sent down to AAA to work on mechanics. You just got hurt. And now you're trying to come back, trying to get the swings in, trying to play in the infield, trying to remember how to play the game. And you're getting plunked, hit by a AAA team. Like, what problem does the Las Vegas Aviators had with Victor Robles? Why are they trying to stop one of their top players from trying to go back up and play in the majors? He's trying to get healthy. This doesn't make any sense. This was out of control. Like straight up, again, I've never seen this. I've never heard of this. Okay, fights have happened in the MLB. Absolutely. In AAA, AA, high A, doesn't matter what level of minor league baseball, there's always been a fight. But a player just chucking a bat, Zach, as I bring you in here to react to this, have you ever heard of something like this? Like, dude, he just literally just whacked like a 4-year-old through a wiffle ball bat after he got hit with it. Like, it was just hilarious.
I mean, we've seen a lot of fights in the MLB. We've seen a lot from the mound to the pitcher. I mean, we've seen Bryce Harper throw bats at someone, but not literally hit any player. And for what I'm seeing, like Victor Robles almost basically did hit the player, right? That's another thing. Like that's just overused as a I can't form words right now, but yeah, that's
over the top.
That's over the top. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you. Yeah, that's just over the top. It's unprofessional. Obviously, you're gonna get a suspension from that. Clearly,
yeah,
there's no doubt about that.
100%.
And especially you're rehabbing an injury in AAA and you're in Tacoma right now. Come on.
Absolutely. So he will serve a 10-game suspension when he gets called back up to the Seattle Mariners. That is now dependent on the Seattle Mariners if they want him to come back. I mean, they might as well just let him stay in AAA and try to figure out what is wrong with his mentality too. Let's figure that out before we try to figure out why you deserve to come back up to the majors. It's just, wow, I've never seen that or heard that. Let's stay on the MLB train here for a minute as we roll on with the show. The New York Yankees did it last night in their very first series of the year. Okay, back all the way late March, early April. They played against the Tampa Bay Rays to open up the season. They hit 13 home runs in a 3-game series. Okay, they hit 9 in one game. Okay, it was unheard of. They had that new, little bat. What was the name of that bat, Zach? The torpedo bat. There you go, torpedo bat. They had that torpedo bat. They hit a bunch of home runs against the Rays. And everyone's thinking, oh my God, is this torpedo bat going to be the answer to everybody's hitting problems in the MLB? Unless you're Shohei Ohtani, in July, you drove your fans up a wall. They're demanding trades. They're demanding players get demoted. They're asking for this. They're asking for that. They're asking for this. They're asking for that. Why are the rookies struggling? How come we can't play any defense? How come we can't score runs? We're losing to the Rangers. We're losing to the Marlins. We're losing to the White Sox. They lost to the freaking Colorado Rockies. Like, what are you guys doing? How come you couldn't have put this together all season? You had to play against one specific team and hit 18 home runs against them in 2 series? Come on. Like, where has this been all season? All right, 6 players last night, including Cody Bellinger, Jazz Chisholm, and Aaron Judge hit home runs for the New York Yankees. This is ridiculous. The Yankees are supposed to be the scary team in the MLB. All right, you have a lethal lineup that can hit a home run anytime, okay? Anytime. And you only do this on an occasion? Are you kidding me? Come on. This isn't what the Yankees are. This isn't what we expect from them. This is a team that just finished up runner-up in the World Series. Like, come on. Even the Dodgers are showing their life here and there. They've struggled all season, but they're still the Dodgers. The Yankees have been nothing but a flat line for 2.5 months, and all of a sudden, you bring the Tampa Bay Rays into New York, and you're hitting dingers all over the park. Zach, am I overreacting a little bit? Like, come on. It takes the Tampa Bay Rays. It takes you guys hitting, 22 home runs in 2 series for you to say, hey, we can hit a baseball.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, torpedo bats is a big play in that as well. But a couple of things is like, the moves they made during before the trade deadline hit, acquiring pitchers, acquiring pitching, and yet they still haven't really utilized them all. Like when I was filling in a couple of weeks ago on our sister station, you and I kind of talked about this too, with the Yankees not playing, all their pitching, and then keeping Marcus Williams in, and that cost the Yankees some games as well. Like they lost to Colorado a couple of times in that span of that game. But that's just bad baseball, in my opinion. And, Aaron Judge is dealing with an injury right now, so he may be out the rest of the year. We'll see about that because he's dealing with a flexor strain injury, and it doesn't sound good. Aaron Boone said it doesn't sound good, so we'll see about that. But if the Yankees want to make a World Series, they need to have hot bats the rest of the season, going into October, going into almost late November or early November, excuse me. And that's just like playoff baseball. You want hot bats to get to playoff baseball.
Yeah, I mean, they got swept by the Miami Marlins the first time in their franchise history. It's bad enough they lost to the Miami Marlins in a World Series. You got swept down in Miami? Come on. You weren't drinking enough Mai Tais to get yourselves guys in shape and ready to win baseball games? Just Yankees, what are you doing? This is a joke, bro. Like, come on. This isn't who you are. Yeah, it's great. You hit 9 home runs last night. It's great. The offense finally woke up. Some pitching came back to life. But this should have been all season. Your fans should not have been questioning you guys back in June or in July. There shouldn't have been a conversation. You should be hitting 6 home runs per game. That's how lethal your lineup should be. All right, we're going to move on to our final topic. It'll take up most of this part of the last segment. Auburn football, okay, went on for a long time saying we don't win national championships like Alabama, like Georgia, like Nebraska, like Miami. They were the guys that just came up short. We're good enough in the SEC, but just not that great, okay? We're not national championship contenders. All of a sudden, they have now claimed 4 national championships, 1910, 1914, 1958 and 2004. And I'm not stuttering, okay? I just said 1910 and 1914. Back in the day when teams were tying for games, when they tied at 9 versus Georgia in 1910. They tied a game. They kicked field goals in that game. No touchdowns, field goals. They kicked field goals back in 1910 to tie a game and try to stay in the national championship competition. Okay? 1914, I looked into it. They only lost 1 game that year, okay, versus 3 other teams that went undefeated. Not a national championship in my eyes. 1958, I went back and looked at that. They tied and lost a game, and the other 2 teams that claimed a national championship were undefeated. Not going to go there. But 2004 is their best case, okay? We have former head coach of the team, Tommy Tuberville, Senator Tommy Tuberville now, had comments to say about congratulating Auburn on claiming the 2004 national championship. Let's hear what he got to say. There you go, Senator Tommy Tuberville saying there that Auburn deserved to win the 2004 national championship, claiming it after everybody knows the story now. USC, with the Reggie Bush situation, paying Reggie Bush to come to USC, got leaked, and they had to be stripped of the 2004 national championship win and all their wins that season. Obviously, the team that they beat to win the national championship, Oklahoma, has not come out and said anything about that. If there's a team out there that should come out and say, hey, we're the national champions, it's Oklahoma. They're the true runner-ups. Okay, Auburn played in the Sugar Bowl and won that game. And obviously, that was against Virginia Tech, and that was a really good Sugar Bowl. Go back and watch that 2004 Sugar Bowl with Auburn and Virginia Tech. It was a lot of fun to watch Michael Vick versus the Auburn Tigers. Seriously, that was a fun game to watch. But the point is, Auburn, you're claiming this national championship only because USC has not been able to claim their national championship back. Come on. Everybody knows that run from 2001 to 2005 for USC was legitimately one of the best short dynasties we've ever seen in college football. Okay, we have been living in an era right now of college football where the SEC has dominated, and mostly that's been Alabama. Okay, 8 national championship appearances, 6 national championship wins from 2008 till now. Think about that: a 17-year run and 6 national championships in that time. For USC, between 2001 and 2005, they won 3 national championships. They won 02, 03, 04. They went in that, 02, 03. They 2003, 2004. Why am I saying 2002? They didn't do that. They claim those 2 national championships. Obviously, they lose 05 to Texas. They don't get the three-peat. But the point of this is, Auburn, what are you doing? Come on. Claiming 4 national championships right out of the blue when no one's going to recognize those whatsoever. You could put the banners up. You could put the plaques up all around your stadium saying we're national champions. Okay? Everybody knows you won the 2010 national championship. You lost the 2013 national championship to Florida State. Those are your last 2 appearances in that big game. You have no other big games that you've been in since. Okay, you haven't even been in the college football playoffs. Don't talk to us about national championships until you played in the college football playoffs. Okay, you have been the mediocre runner-ups in SEC football for the last 5 seasons. You got bigger problems than worrying about national championship claims. Okay, sure, Oklahoma's not going to claim the 04 national championship. Go ahead, claim the 04 national championship. But I don't think anybody in college football is going to recognize that. Again, you could put the placards, you could put the banners up. I don't think you're going to get anybody in the SEC, let alone outside of college, outside of the SEC, to recognize that. Okay, so pump your brakes there, Tigers. I get it. You want to, put some more credibility behind your program, catch up on Alabama with their national championships, considering they're at 15 national championships and you're at 9 now. Okay, so there's a little bit of a shorter gap between your 2 programs. But still, in the state of Alabama, it's Alabama football before Auburn football. Okay, 2010 was a fun season. Cam Newton, the comeback versus Alabama, but that's the only real year we recognize you as national championships. Other than that, come on, 1957. You get 57, you get 2010. Just enjoy the national championship recognition to begin with, okay? This claiming 04, sure. Again, USC doesn't get to claim it. Oklahoma doesn't want it. All right, throw the bone to Auburn football. But you better find someone who can actually really recognize that outside of your own fan base and program. All right, we also got something to talk about here as well. Football season is here, and the Utah ESPN radio network is getting you ready with 31 days of football presented by Baskin-Robbins. Tune in daily for the best coverage of the NFL, college, and Utah area high school football. It's the 31 days of football presented by Baskin-Robbins and your home of football, ESPN 700. We're going to take a break. When we come back, NFL news and notes here on the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. We're going to talk about Arch Manning. Should he go to the 2026 NFL draft? And what's going on in Tennessee Titans camp? Is Cam Ward getting into fights in practice? All that and much more right here on the Utes Radio Network. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 792.1 FM. Zach, you never disappoint me when it comes to music, man. Oh, yeah, bro. Good one right there, man. Seriously, a good way to open up the second segment here. If you missed our first segment, we talked about Victor Robles throwing a bat in a minor league game, getting suspended for 10 games. The New York Yankees hit 9 home runs versus the Tampa Bay Rays last night. How come they can't do that every other night? Seriously, a team that has all that offensive power and yet only hits 9 home runs every once in a while in a couple months. Seriously, come on, Yankees. And Auburn football tried to claim 4 national championships in the last couple of days here, including the 2004 national championship. If you guys don't know, we have an ESPN text line here. ESPN number is 1-877-353-0700. We got a text here this morning saying, I 100% agree with what Martin said about Auburn. But remember, the Utah Utes tried to claim a 2008 national championship the year the Florida Gators won. I did not know that at all. I did not know the Utah Utes tried to claim a national championship that year. Zach, did you know that? I don't even know what Utah's record was that year. If it was good enough to try to claim a national championship, they must have been, either undefeated or 1 loss?
I'm not completely sure about this one. I know they claimed one when it was Whittingham's first year coaching the head coach of Utah when they beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. I'm not sure about this one. We might have to research this a little bit more in the next few minutes.
I just looked it up. They went 13-0, and their big win was against Alabama in that Sugar Bowl, 31-17. Go figure. Utah can beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. Heck yeah. Their first win of that season was against Michigan. So they got a small case there, but still, the Florida Gators of 2008 with Tim Tebow was a lot better football team than the Utah Utes. I know all the Utes fans are going, what are you talking about? Now I'm going to text into the text line and tell you how good that 2008 Utah Utes team was and how they could have beaten the Florida Gators. Listen, text it to me again, okay? 877-353-0700. Tell me why the 2008 Utah Utes team should have been in the national championship game against the Florida Gators, and we should have seen that clash, and maybe, just maybe, Utah could have beaten their old head coach in Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow. What a game that would have been. What a statement that would have been to say, we, the Utah Utes, moved on from Urban Meyer. He went to Florida, got Tim Tebow, and we beat him in a national championship game. Now, there's something that I would brag about for years, Zach. I wouldn't give up on that claim at all. I beat my former head coach and his Heisman Trophy prodigy in a national championship game. No way I would ever forget about that.
Yeah, there's also the comparison of like Tom Brady beating the Patriots after playing almost 20-something years on the Patriots and then going to Tampa Bay and then playing them as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, or it's like like a similar situation, like Matthew Stafford playing the Lions again in the playoffs, or something else. Jared Goff playing the Rams as a Lion. That's the cool part about those types of games, is that it's a memorabilia, right?
Absolutely.
So you're either playing your guts out to beat your former team. Obviously, there's still respect for that former team, that former head coach, your former offensive coordinator, all those guys, your former wide receivers that you would throw to or catch the ball from the quarterback. And then there's also like, oh, I really had a really bad game against my former team. These guys got the best of me because I'm coming back to a place where I started my career and grew a family or something else like that.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about some NFL news and notes here. About a week and a half ago, I was hosting the Bryson Bianucci show on ESPN The Fan, 103.9 and 98.3. We'll be on there later today from 1 to 2, so catch us there as well. And, me and Zach, we're hosting the show. And we got talking about Arch Manning. We heard a little segment from I forget his name now.
Colin Cowherd.
Colin Cowherd. Thank you very much there. Zach, you're always one of my best buds to remind me of that. Talking about why it was a good idea that Arch Manning leaves after this season with Texas to go into the NFL draft, enter into the 2026 NFL draft. You don't need the money anymore from NIL. You have the experience. You have a full season under your belt, plus your 3 starts from last season. He's good enough to go. The last name will carry him throughout his entire NFL career, regardless of what he accomplishes, okay? The Mannings are always successful some way, somehow in the NFL, okay? I countered, and Zach helped me with a little bit of it. I said, do not leave, Arch. Listen, wait until the 2027 draft. Being that I'm a Chicago Bears fan, I know what it's like to take a 1-year wonder and hope that the prodigy turns into an actual franchise quarterback. Mitchell Trubisky was not a franchise quarterback. You want me to give you another example? Ryan Leaf was a great, amazing quarterback at Washington State. He was a one-season wonder. He went out there, competed, went to that game against Michigan in the Rose Bowl, lost, put up a solid case on why he should have been the Heisman Trophy winner versus that stacked 1998 class of Charles Woodson, Randy Moss, Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf. You can't ask for a better Heisman Trophy class than that one. That, to me, is the best class of all time. That's 3 Hall of Famers plus Ryan Leaf. I mean, seriously, there's not a better class, okay? Now, back to Arch Manning. Why I say he should stay another season is because he needs more starts. 3 starts last season against one FCS team, against Alabama in a win that shocked everybody. Texas walking into Alabama and beating them, but then getting absolutely destroyed in relief versus Georgia is not good enough to prove to me that Arch Manning is a franchise savior. Yes, he has the potential. We've all seen the practice film. We've seen his adjustments, his mechanics, his decision-making. It's there, but he needs a full season. And he's in the right conference for it, and he has the right head coach for it. Steve Sarkisian used to be a former offensive coordinator in the NFL. It didn't go right with Atlanta. He didn't do the job perfectly, but he was with Matt Ryan. He was with Julio Jones. He had that experience and that talent around him. He worked at Alabama with Nick Saban twice in his career. Okay, he knows how to prepare. He knows how to get guys ready. And being at Texas with Arch Manning, with the fact that Arch has the NIL money to guarantee him to stay at Texas, is a benefit to him. Okay, get another season under your belt. Build this season and next season. The more starts, the better we see him play in under circumstances against top teams like Alabama, like LSU, like Georgia. Can he compete for an SEC title game? Can he go through the college football playoffs and win? Obviously, everyone's going to say, but what if he gets hurt? What if his shoulder gets hurt? What if his leg gets hurt? Are we going to have another Travis, what was his name? The Florida State quarterback that got hurt the final game. Was it Travis Jordan? Something like that. Jordan Travis.
Yes.
That Jordan Travis. That name came back to me. Him getting hurt in that final game cost him his NFL career. But Arch Manning, you need the starts, bro. You need to risk it, right? You have the NIL money. If you had to be forced to retire before you got to the NFL, you have the money, dude. You're a Manning. The money will be there for the rest of your life. This isn't about money. This is about the fact that he needs to go out and build his own legacy, build his own career, build his own name, okay? There's no way he'll ever be able to step out of the shadow of being a Manning, but he has the opportunity to try, and this is a golden opportunity. At Texas, in the toughest conference in college football, going up against the very best schools in that conference, okay? You could even say that about South Carolina. You could say that at times with Oklahoma if they would get their stuff together. You could say that about a litany of teams in that conference. It isn't just the Alabamas, the LSUs, or the Georgias. There are a lot of good teams in the SEC that are going to challenge him. Ole Miss, Florida, you are going to see solid competition. Okay, and if he works through all of those progressions and succeeds at that level and proves that he is an SEC top-level quarterback and a possible prospect for the NFL, his stock will rise. He is already projected to be the number 1 pick if he goes into next year's draft or in 2027.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Go ahead, Zach.
I agree with you. You know, 2 uncles that played also in the SEC, Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, 2 NFL Hall of Famers. You know, Peyton playing for Tennessee, Eli playing for Ole Miss. You know, there's that familiarity with the SEC and how competitive the SEC can be. And I agree. I think he should stay another year or 2. Like, Steve Sarkisian has a great system in Texas. He produced a lot of NFL players this last draft, like Zade Barron, Quinn Ewers, you name it, right? So it's better for Arch to get that experience under his belt. You know, we saw Jalen Milroe, who could have committed to the draft the year before, decided to stay another year. And then, like, Cam Rising coming back for another year, as we didn't know, like, before he got hurt against Baylor this last season. He could have, like, there's always those what ifs. Like, what if I came back and did this and then this and then committed to the draft, And then Texas being projected to win a national championship this year potentially as well with Arch Manning. So I think it's worth it that he stays for another year or two. And he commented on what Archie Manning said, and he's like, I don't know where he got that from. I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, Archie Manning always tries to drive the bus, and listen, he did it with Peyton, he did it with Eli, and I don't hate on Archie trying to drive this bus. Listen, he went through it before everybody else. He was a guy that was supposed to be a prodigy in the NFL and got mollied but in New Orleans and in Minnesota, just couldn't get the Aints to be the Saints. Went through all those bad losing seasons, and I get it. He wants to protect them. He wants to make sure they go to actual legitimately good teams, okay? He made sure Payne went to Indianapolis. He made sure that San Diego, New York trade with Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning happened in the 2004. But there's now rules now that say you can't draft another quarterback for another team and trade. You can't do the NBA stuff in the NFL, man. They prevented that stuff. So if Archie Manning is going to try to prevent his grandson from trying to dodge another bullet of playing for the New Orleans Saints, who are projected to possibly have the number 1 overall pick because they don't have a quarterback and they need a quarterback, that is something there. But I hope he doesn't. Let the kid learn. Let the kid thrive. It isn't about money. It's about starts. It's about competitiveness. It's about what we have to see on tape. We know he's good, but can he play a full season? Can he help a team get through a national championship run? Can he get to the Final Four of the College World Playoffs? Can he get to the national championship game? That's all I'm asking. College football is college football. You don't know what type of team you're going to run into every single week. You just don't. There's a coin toss with that every single week and every single moment in a game. But we need to see him play a full season, go through his progressions, go through his growth, go through his actual reads. He just needs to put it all together for us to see that, hey, look, that Alabama game wasn't a fluke. He could do that on other moments too. He can do that against other teams. That is going to be something that's going to rise his stock up even more. We already know he'll be the number 1 overall pick, but can he be the consensus runaway number 1 overall pick? We've seen that with other quarterbacks. Bryce Young. We've seen that with Caleb Williams. We saw that with, Andrew Luck. We've seen that with other quarterbacks. Can he do it and be one of those type of consensus runaway first overall picks? Because if he can, then his stock will, then he'll be okay. He will be okay in the NFL. But we need to see that. I can't be too wrong on that, can I, Zach? I mean, it's just, we already know. Number 1 overall pick. We already know that. There's no denying that part. But we need to see something from him that just says that is legitimately, there's no other option, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these players have been playing football since they were like 10, right? So, and a lot of teams are really high on Arch. I know the Rams are really high on him. I know the Browns are really high on him. There's a lot of teams that are really, really high on Arch Manning. Obviously going to be consensus number 1 pick. So we'll see about that. Who has the experience at all levels that can help Arch kind of go right in the right direction.
Absolutely. Like, to hit the nail on the head, final part of that, Arch, just take your time, bro. This isn't about money anymore. NIL money, you got it, bro. Legacy money, you got it, bro. Your last name is Manning. You are good for life. This is about starts. This is about progressions. You need to put tape together to prove that you are the runaway, dude. Like, LJ Sellers is in the SEC at South Carolina. He could potentially be a top pick. We have Drew Aller at Penn State. He could be a potential top pick. Okay, you need to prove that you're legitimately sky-rising higher, better than those guys. And if you do that, there's no doubt about it. All right, let's move on to another quarterback story here. This came down a while ago, about a day and a half ago. Cam Ward got into a fight in Tennessee Titans practice against Jeffrey Simmons. And if you don't know who Jeffrey Simmons is, he is a large dude. He's the defensive tackle for the Tennessee Titans. This was an in-house fight between both of them. They got into a scuffle. They got into a little bit after, some of the defensive linemen touched Cam Ward and he was barking back. And then Simmons got into it and they were barking at each other. And the reason why I bring this up is simple. I love the fact that Cam Ward is growing up fast. Okay, he looks on tape right now like a franchise quarterback. Okay, he's had 2 starts in the preseason, and he has not had a phenomenally great stats wise, but he looks grown. He looks comfortable. He looks like he knows how to read an NFL defense. He looks like he knows how to command an offense. Okay. On the sidelines, he knows how to talk to his coaches. Hey, this is what we should do. Adjust to this, adjust to that. This is what this guy should do. This is what we should do. This is the type of situation we should be in. This is the type of play we should call. This is what we, excuse me, this is what we should do. And I love that about Cam Ward. And yes, you don't want your franchise quarterback getting into the fight with the biggest dude on your defensive lineman. That's just not smart. Okay, if you get hurt, there goes the season. Okay, I mean, you don't want to piss off a giant man. Believe me, I'm 6'8", 350 pounds. I dare you. Okay, but the point is, Cam Ward is not afraid to step up and prove that he is a young leader on the rise. Okay, Cam Ward is in a position where he was in conversations. It should be Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. Who's the number 1 overall pick? Should they go back to back? Who is going to go number 1? Who should it be? And you know what? Day in and day out, Cam Ward proves why he should have been the number 1 overall pick. There was conversations early in minicamp. Cam Ward has grown. He's commanding the offensive line. A rookie is telling the veterans what to do. The veteran offensive lineman respected him for that. Now in camp, he's taken over 2 preseason games. Looks good. They'll get the offense together. They'll get the wide receivers figured out. They only have 1 on that team. All right, Calvin Ridley's great, but he's on the other side of 30. Okay, he's not what he used to be. So we have to pump the brakes on the fact that Calvin Ridley of 2018 or 19, that would be scary with Cam Ward. But this is 2025 Cameron Ridley. So we have a different type of player. They don't have any other type of wide receiver options. They have a decent running game. They have a decent defense. They won't win any more than between 5 and 7 games. But I love the fact that he is stepping up, challenging guys in practice. This is what you want from your rookie quarterback, to take over a team like this. Challenge the guys. If it means throwing a punch, just don't throw it too hard. Don't break a knuckle. Don't break a finger. Just a little slap on top of the head. Remind these guys that you may be a rookie, but you're not going to take anything. Zach, am I wrong on that?
No, not at all. And my Denver Broncos, I'm a Broncos fan, for everyone who didn't know, play the Tennessee Titans week 1 and then go to Indianapolis week 2. But I'm a little worried after watching the first 2 games of Cam Ward playing. Like, he is looking solid. And I think he's going to have a great rookie year. In second-year head coach, or no, first-year head coach. I can't remember, but yeah, he's gonna have a great rookie year.
No, second year. You're right about that.
Yeah, second year. Okay, but he's gonna have a really great year. He's got the right weapons. He's excited. He's excited to play. He was excited to be drafted by the Tennessee Titans, and they just had the odds up on the Pat McAfee show for each division. They're plus 750. I'm gonna argue against that. Honestly, I am gonna argue against that because I think Cam Ward will step up, win games. And I think they're going to be like second or third in the division.
That's bold. Wow. I don't hate the third one because to me, Jacksonville is that team that I don't think will take the right steps. Offensively, they could be kind of scary, but defensively, they'll struggle. That's bold. I don't hate that one. Indianapolis, of course, Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. We'll talk about that here coming up. That's a good situation. Right now is what? Houston? Houston's probably the most conscious favorite winner.
Houston was plus 100.
Plus 100. Wow. I might have to take that bet. Okay, I might have to take a trip to Nevada here. Okay. Anyway, let's take a break here on ESPN 792.1 FM. When we come back on the Down and Dirty, we're going to talk about it. Anthony Richardson getting passed up by Daniel Jones for the Indianapolis starting quarterback job, and what's going on with Matt Stafford? Sean McVay, the head coach of the Rams, has something to say about that. We're going to cover both of those right here on the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell on the U Sports Radio Network. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 792.1 FM. I'm Martin Kelly, the executive producer, holding down the show today for Scott. Scott will be on later today, holding down the Sean O'Connell show. Sean O'Connell's got a couple more fights to call this year, man. The PFL Championship Finals are this weekend. I believe it's middleweight, heavyweight, and I think there's a lightweight championship on the line. So we wish Sean O'Connell the very best with those calls this weekend. Can't wait to hear those fights. OC, man, have a good time out there. Scott will be holding down the OC show. I'm holding down the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. Thank you guys so much. Again, I'm Martin Kelly. Got my friend in the building with me today, Zach Robinson. Zach Attack holding down the producing studio with me today. Zach, man, we had a fun show today. We talked about some MLB, Victor Robles throwing a bat in a minor league game. The Yankees hitting 9 home runs last night. Auburn trying to claim 4 national championships. We just covered that Cam Ward got into a fight with the biggest guy in Tennessee practice, Jeffrey Simmons, and possibly Arch Manning won't go into the 2026 draft. It will be the 2027 NFL draft.
I mean, first of all, we always have fun when we do a show together, obviously. And when we did Bryson Bianucci a couple weeks ago, we had a lot of fun doing that. We get like 3 hours on that show versus over here we get 2, technically. 1 here and 1 on the fan. But we always have fun. And there's always those controversial topics of, Arch Manning staying, Arch Manning going. What is week 1 going to look like for the NFL? There's always some controversial news topic that we get to talk about and give our opinions and what people think about these types of situations. It's great. It's so fun to just talk about something you love to talk about.
Absolutely. I would never have dreamed if I would ever got this opportunity. Thank you to ESPN 792.1 FM for giving me this chance. I appreciate it. The Youth Sports Radio Network will have all the Utah Youth games this season. It's going to be a fun season with them. Devin Dampier, Kyle Whittingham, Jason Beck on the hill. We'll see what happens with the Utes as the season comes around. 10 days, guys. 10 days until kickoff. College football is back, baby. We got college football games this weekend. All right, the best game being Iowa State and Kansas State in Dublin, Ireland. It is going to be a blast to watch that game. We got UNLV this weekend as well. Dan Mullins, who's now the new head coach of the Running Rebels down in Las Vegas. We get to see them this week. Hawaii, is going to be opening up this week. The Rainbow Warriors. I can't wait to see that game. They're building a new stadium. If you haven't heard of this, Zach, Rainbow Warriors, $400 million, brand new on a college football stadium in possibly 4 years, probably 3 or 4 years they'll have it built. But Rainbow Warriors, man, getting a new home on the island.
Yeah, that's awesome. And obviously the island deserves a lot of love. I mean, they've gone through so much in the last month, with the whole earthquake thing. So we wish the very best for everybody in Hawaii if you guys are listening from Hawaii. But that's awesome. And I want to see it. I want to see more for Hawaii too, like with soccer, basketball, like everything. Like I think they deserve a whole new everything.
Absolutely. Former Pac-10 opponents of I don't think they were in it with Utah in the Pac-12. They were a Pac-10 opponent, but I don't think they were there. Anyway, let's move on with the show here. Let's talk about this real quick. Anthony Richardson is now going to be QB2 in Indianapolis. Daniel Jones has been named the starting quarterback for the Colts. Shane Steichen coming out saying that it is a huge blow to Anthony Richardson. Obviously, got sat down for 2 games last year for the Indianapolis Colts after throwing 8 touchdowns and 12 interceptions in 8 starts last year. Not good enough. The season prior, he had 4 starts, but he got hurt and he couldn't play the rest of the season. That's when they had Joe Flacco and Gardner Minshew try to finish out the season. We'll see what happens with Anthony Richardson, man. I don't know where you go with him. I don't know what new ideas you come up with him, how to coach him or what. But the Florida prospect just hasn't lived up to potential in Indianapolis. It has gone down south. He was a 4th overall pick in the draft. He had that game against Jacksonville where he ran and threw the ball and he looked electrifying and just had it all. And just could not put it together after that. Had a few moments last season, came back after that 2 games sitting on the bench, had a couple moments, but just couldn't put anything together. I think Anthony Richardson, I don't even know if it's just a new environment that he needs, but he needs a new mentality. Okay. He needs a new idea. And it's not about switching positions or, anything of that. It's just what do you want out of your career? Right now, it's not going the way. You're not the franchise savior in Indianapolis. You're the one they're looking at going, should we have drafted you? Should we have done something different? Who knows? And finally, let's talk about the Los Angeles Rams. We got comments here by Sean McVay real quick. His comments on if Matt Stafford is ready to be the starting quarterback. There you go. Sean McVay saying that he made a bunch of good decisions. We'll see what happens with Matt Stafford. Is this the final season? Will he have another season in him? He is getting up there in age, broken back, hasn't had the most fun playoff runs with LA Rams since the Super Bowl, being knocked out in the wild card by the Lions, last year being knocked out in the divisional round by the Eagles. So we'll see what happens with him. Zach, to finish this up, we got about 90 seconds about that. 2 minutes? 2 minutes left. Here, Zach, let's talk the last 2 minutes here. Anthony Richardson getting benched. Daniel Jones now the starting quarterback. And Matt Stafford fighting through that back injury, man. We got a couple good last stuff to talk about.
Yeah. First of all, I heard Steichen is not going to put a short leash on the starting quarterback. Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback for the season unless something else happens to him. He gets hurt, something like that. So now that trust between Anthony Richardson and the Colts is questionable. So I'm curious what that's going to happen and if he can revive his career. We kind of see Trey Lance kind of doing that right now with Jim Harbaugh at the Chargers. I mean, he had a great outing with the Chargers the last 3 preseason games. So I think Trey Lance will be a starter back in this league at some point in his career. I'm curious if Anthony Richardson is going to go through the same process. I mean, getting hurt his rookie year was not obviously on the table, so that kind of impacted him as well. And yeah, Stafford's getting up there in age. Obviously, Stafford is, he's like 36, he's 37 or something
35,
like that. 35. So he's getting up there, but Stafford's still going to be ready to go week 1, I think. He's going to have a great season with the Rams, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. Yeah, and yeah, I think Stafford's just going to have to work through and see what he can do.
We'll see. I think Anthony Richardson needs a new environment, and Matt Stafford is getting close to that retirement age where he's got to sit down on the rocking chair. Anywho, this has been the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. Martin Kelly hosting the show today. Sean O'Connell Show with Scott Mitchell is coming up next year on ESPN 792 on FM. Thank you guys so much for listening today. We'll catch you tomorrow. Until then, we'll see you then.